Welcome to the Tourism News Wrap. My name is Jason Amu. Coming up, global community unites to celebrate tourism and rural development on World Tourism Day. Zimbabwe to reopen international borders on October 1. Madagascar holds training for tourism stakeholders, and beyond the return pillars unveiled. The 2020 edition of World Tourism Day will celebrate the unique role that tourism plays in providing opportunities outside of big cities and preserving cultural and natural heritage all around the world. Celebrated on 27 September with the theme of tourism and rural development, this year's International Day of Observation comes at a critical moment as countries around the world look to tourism to drive recovery, including in rural communities where the sector is a leading employer and economic pillar. For the first time in the history of World Tourism Day, the 2020 official celebration will be hosted by a group of countries and not a single UNWTO member state. The cross-border cooperation of Mercosur nations of Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay plus Chile, who has observer status, reflects the current need for international solidarity and cooperation. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in Zimbabwe has announced the country's borders will be reopened to international passenger air traffic on October 1. Addressing the media in Harare during a cabinet briefing, Information Minister Monica Muchivangwa said, Cabinet approved the opening of the country's skies to both domestic and international flights effective 10 September and 1 October 2020 respectively. Last week, Zimbabwe announced that it was working on modalities for the resumption of flights to kickstart the country's tourism sector. Medical and hygienic measures have been put in place to ensure the safety of passengers and staff. The Madagascar National Tourism Office has conducted training sessions for stakeholders in the tourism industry as it gears up to reopen the island's tourist haven of Nosebe on October 1. The executive director of the National Tourism Office of the island, Vola Ravilosin, said the office was committed to going beyond the release of health protocols to undertake simulation exercises to ensure all and sundry are prepared adequately to receive travelers.
Nusibe is to reopen on the 1st of October, and we are preparing the hotels and the tour operators and all the partners in the tourism field in Nusibe to prepare themselves and their employees to implement the hygiene protocols. We didn't want just to send a thick document to the hotels and send them to read it, but we have organized training on site for the managers of hotels. We have trained also the employees on site, and we have performed 10 videos to show the employees how they should implement the protocols on their daily work. And also we have posters who are to be displayed in the rooms, in the lobbies, at the reception, in the restaurants, with pictograms to remind both tourists and employees the main barrier gestures and the specific barrier gestures in tourism.
With South Africa having moved to stage 2 of their adjusted strategy, the KwaZulu-Natal province has initiated steps to revive the meetings industry. In an interview with Tourism NewsWrap, the acting chief convention bureau of Tourism KZN, Zonto Mayise, said the bureau and the province is energized and ready to meet the needs of the MICE sector.
As you know, Kojo, that it's been difficult for the business event sector for quite some time now. I think it's over 6 months that we've been on lockdown and there was no business that was happening. But we can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel, of course. Now on level 2, we are able to start preparing for the international travel We don't know when is that going to happen, but we are positive that it's going to happen soon. So as the Convention Bureau in KwaZulu-Natal, we are ready in terms of welcoming back our partners and our stakeholders in a safe environment in our destination. And we're saying to them, we are ready for them to be able to come again in Durban and KwaZulu-Natal to host their business meetings. So what we actually working on with our partners right now, including the government, of course, at all levels, we are starting to see the benefits of hosting the hybrid meetings, because as you know that the numbers that are allowed by government at the moment is 50 at a given time, so that we are able to keep the safety measures. So what we're doing is to actually spread the economic benefits to other venues, to other regions in the province of KwaZulu-Natal by hosting these hybrid meetings in different venues, so that we continue with the economic benefits and also assisting people in different areas that they actually benefit in terms of job creation, in terms of making sure that the economy is revived. As you know, that people have been without jobs for quite some time now. So as KwaZulu-Natal, working closely with government and the private sector, we are putting safety measures in place and making sure that everyone is ready for the opening of the borders when it happens.
The Seychelles Tourism Board has launched the third tourism festival under the theme Tourism Back with Confidence. It is scheduled to take place from September 27th to 29th, 2020. This year's edition will be focused on building the confidence of stakeholders in the local tourism industry, besides raising awareness on the value and contribution of tourism as a main pillar of our economy. The annual Tourism Week in Seychelles is an extension of the annual World Tourism Day, celebrated on September 27th and initiated by the World Tourism Organization. The government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, has announced a pillar to drive the Beyond the Return campaign. The 10-year project under the theme, A Decade of African Renaissance, is expected to be a platform for engagement among the people of African descent in the diaspora. Ghana's Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Barbara Oting Jesse, had this to say during the launch.
Beyond the Return is a 10-year initiative that will serve to strengthen ties with our global African diaspora. Each of the 7 pillars being unveiled today touches on the many areas that are key to developing Ghana and providing an environment that supports the diaspora. In developing the pillars for the Beyond the Return, we took into consideration the many questions, concerns, and feedback we received from the diaspora and local communities during and after the Year of Return. Africa is the future, and building it will be a collaborative effort between continental Africans and the historical diaspora. Together, we can shape the future and revitalize our continent into the greatness it was destined for, and change the narrative of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a good day, and we look forward to the next decade as we experience the African Renaissance together.
Algeria's Ministry of Tourism, Handicrafts and Family Labour has developed and released COVID-19 health protocols to guide the safe reopening of the Maghreb nation's tourism sector. The protocol, which has been in place since August 15, has seen the ministry engaging the country's key stakeholders to adhere and implement the requirements in order to secure the staff and traveling public. The health protocols require hoteliers to set up monitoring and crisis cells in order to contain urgent situations, to immobilize a medical staff for the daily care of tourists and employees. Tourism consultancy firm Hospitality EQ has been adjudged by South Africa Prestige Awards as the Hospitality and Tourism Consultancy of the Year for 2020-2021. Hospitality EQ is an ambassador for hospitality and tourism in Africa and works continuously with and for the industry to ensure quality exposure and sustainability. The CEO of the firm, Barry Clemens, had this to say.
It's really been an absolute honor to be awarded the Hospitality and Tourism Consultancy of the Year for South Africa. Our team really worked hard to promote the industry at a global level and assist the industry to grow, making sure that we deliver great experiences at every level of the industry, whether it's travel, tourism, or the actual hospitality side. So making sure that the industry again can deliver to the traveler, making sure that from the arrival through to the different destinations they travel to, the operators, the hotels, the guests has got a good experience. This is really what we're focusing on, and it's absolutely fantastic to be recognized for that, and we really hope that this helps us obviously broaden our profile and get more people on board.
There's more news on www.voyageafrique.com and all our social media platforms. My name is Jason.